Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Welcome po sa ating online preaching. And alam ko po ito pong kapag-aanan na pag-share ng Word of God online ay hindi po tayo sumay sa kapag-aanan ito. Ganun pa man, kailangan po natin sinayin sa sarili natin dahil nga may pandemic. And since may pandemic, required tayo lahat na mag-quarantine. Bawal mga lumabas ng bahay kung hindi naman kinakailangan. And kailangan din natin mag-social distancing. Kumbaga,
Yes.
for this month of May, first month po na online preaching natin sa online group. At the same time, second month na po ito ng quarantine. And we have been discussing this topic on reduce the risk of the virus. Since ngayon na may pandemic, and we are now suffering from this virus called COVID-19. And I know naman na we are fully aware sa kung ano nga bang COVID-19, kung ano nga bang symptoms nito, at kaya paano natin mapapaganda sa sarili natin from against this virus. Hindi na po natin siya i-discuss. But then, meron po tayo isang bagay na dapat natin talakayin. May pag-uusapan po tayong isang virus na kagaya nga na sinabi natin yung kinakataan, hindi siya sikat, pero delikado siya sa ating spiritual. At sa ngayon po ay nasa pangatlong virus na tayo. At ito po ay ang virus na the virus of not fulfilling your
Bilang isang estudyante, masasabi natin hindi mo nagagampanan ang responsibility mo bilang isang estudyante kapag una, ikaw ay hindi nakakapagpasa ng mga requirements mo on time. Pangalawa, nabibigo kang gawin ang mga assignments and projects mo. Pangatlo, kapag ikaw ay madalas na absent. At pang-apat, kung ikaw ay hindi nakikinig sa teacher mo at makikipagdaldalan ka. At syempre, marami pang kadahilanan, okay? At bilang isang anak naman, diba, sa bahay, masasabi natin hindi mo nagagampanan na yung responsibility mo bilang isang anak kapag ikaw ay hindi sumusunod sa utos ng magulang mo, kapag hindi mo sila ginagalang at sinasagot mo sila, and at the same time, kapag ikaw ay nagsisinungaling. And bilang anak ng Diyos, at bilang isang Kristiyano, tayo po ay nabigyan ng isang responsibility. Ng mga responsibilities bilang anak ng Diyos at Kristiyano. And alam nyo ba na virus na may tuturing ito kung hindi mo magagampanan ang mga responsibilities na ibinigay?
Tungo naman tayo sa risk factors ng virus na ito or sino nga ba ang mga taong prone sa virus na ito. Risk factor number 1, lack of connection.
When was the last time you had a conversation with God? When was the last time you have read your Bible? When was the last time that you do your devotion? And again, do you still remember that last time that you had a conversation?
Beware of this one. We often lost connection to God as a result of our life experiences, cruel or unbearable situations, disappointments, rejections, and sufferings. You felt that your relationship with God is growing more distant and unfamiliar. And when we can't bear it, we started to doubt God in our life, and as soon as we doubt Him, we started to stop worshiping Him and communicating with Him.
Kapag ikaw, wala kang connection sa Panginoon, hindi ka nakakapag-devotion, hindi ka nakakapag-pray sa Kanya, mas prone ka sa virus na ito. Bakit? Lagi nating tatandaan na hindi lang sa tinapay nabubuhay ang isang tao, ngunit pati sa mga salita ng Panginoon. Paano mo ma-feed yung spiritual na pangangatawan mo kung wala ka namang ginagawa para pakainin ito? Kung hindi ka nagde-devotion at hindi ka nananalangin. Paano na lang spiritual na pangangatawan mo, diba? Hindi naman enough na bubusog ka lang physically. Pero dapat, pati yung spiritual na pangangatawan natin is nagagampanan din natin yung responsibility natin.
Risk factor number 2, double-mindedness. A double-minded believer is someone who is constantly living in two ways. Half of your lives for God, while the other half is for your bad habit. A double-minded Christian is someone who is divided in his interests or loyalties, uncertain, two-faced, half-hearted. In Matthew 6 verse 24 it says, "No one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and the money." And for it to be clear to you whether you are a double-minded or not, you better ask yourselves with these questions. First, are my attitude and life is tuned with the will of God? Second, are my motives self-centered or God-centered? And third, is what I am asking and doing is according to God's plan and purpose in my life?
Ito yung mga taong madaling ma-distract. Since wala naman silang fixed na stand sa buhay nila, they are easily distracted and no loyalty at all. And since distracted, madalas wala silang natatapos. Kasi halimbawa na lang, bilang estudyante, gumagawa ka ng assignment mo. Tapos biglang dumating yung classmate mo, nagaya mag-computer na kayo. And since you're addicted to computer games, naiwan mo na yung paggawa ng responsibility mo bilang isang estudyante. So you are easily distracted since you are a double-minded person. And again, tanong ko lang, are you called to be a world changer or a world chaser?
Risk factor number 3. Many priorities.
There are so many things that clamor our attention and devotion sa Panginoon. Bilang isang estudyante, I know na dumating ka na sa sitwasyon ng buhay mo na kailangan mo. Kung a-attend ka ba ng school practices mo? Kung a-attend ka ba sa birthday party ng kaibigan mo? O a-attend ka ba ng church anniversary? And sabi nga nila, kung alin doon yung pinili mo, yun ang priority mo. At sa mga nagtatrabaho dyan, diba? There is also a tendency na that happens in your life na nagkasabay yung trabaho mo at yung oras na dapat inilalaan mo sa
In Deuteronomy 5 verse 8 to 9, "You shall not make for yourself an idol in the form of anything in the heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below." Verse 9, "You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, I am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the fathers to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me." Anything can become a god to us. Anything we worship or put an excessive amount of time into. Even our feelings can become God if we will allow it to control us. Remember, God doesn't want us to place anything before Him. His desire is that we worship Him and Him alone. He must come first in our lives.
How does this kind of mindset impact us in doing our responsibilities? Of course, you will have a biased fellowship and selective obedience. And as all remember, you cannot serve two masters at a time.
And now, let's now proceed to the effects of the virus. Effect number 1. Slowly losing your passion and zeal.
Do you still remember the passion and the enthusiasm you once had when you gave your life to Jesus and started serving Him in the ministry? Una, because of the passion you had, you're very enthusiastic to do your responsibilities sa church. Sobrang passionate mo, halos ginawa mo ng bahay ang church. Lagi kang present. Second, because of the passion you had, you're very enthusiastic to do your devotion. Sobrang passionate mo, halos nakakilang page ka na sa paggawa ng devotion mo. Third, because of the passion you had, you're very enthusiastic to pray and talk to God every day. Sa sobrang passionate mo, halos iabutin ka na ng ilang minuto or minsan pa nga umiiyak ka kapag ikaw ay nakikipag-usap sa Panginoon. Pero, nagbago na ang lahat. Dahil nga sa hindi mo na na-fulfill ang mga responsibilities mo bilang anak ng Diyos. Hindi ka na kumikilo sa ministry mo. hindi ka na nakakapag-devotion, at hindi ka na rin nakakapag-pray sa Kanya. At higit sa lahat, nakalimutan mo ng connect sa very source of energy natin, kundi ang Panginoon. At dahil sa wala ka ng connection sa Kanya, unti-unting namamatay yung apoy na meron ka sa puso.
Always remember that the quality of service you give is undeniably affected by the amount of excitement we find in doing it.
Dahil wala ng passion dyan sa puso mo, nagsimula ka ng tamarin. Kung dati, paminsan-minsan ka lang umaaten, dahil nga sa wala ng apoy na nagpupush sa'yo sa paggawa ng responsibilities mo, hindi ka na talaga umaten ng church service. Let us all remember that service should be exciting and passion-driven. Kung wala ng passion dyan sa puso mo, imposible na para sa'yo nagkampanan pa yung responsibilities mo.
Effect number 2. It will prevent our spiritual growth.
Bilang isang Kristiyano at ambassadors of Christ, maraming ibinigay na responsibilidad sa atin ng Diyos. Kagaya na lamang ang pagninilay ng mga salita niya, at ang pagde-devotion, pananalangin, at pagkilos sa ministry. Kapag ikaw ay infected na sa virus na ito, malabo na para sa iyo nagampanan pa yung mga responsibilities sa private ka. At kapag hindi mo na nagagampanan yung mga bagay na yon, unti-unti, hindi ka na
In Matthew 4 verse 4, it says, Jesus answered, "It is written, man doesn't live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Effect number 3. Your service is deflated.
Because of this virus, we all fail to serve God and His people. Remember that we are all responsible sa lahat ng bagay na ginagawa natin sa mundo to. Responsable tayo sa mga araw na mas pinili natin maging late sapagkat ng mga church activities na meron tayo. Responsable tayo sa mga bagay na dapat nag-work tayo sa Panginoon, pero kung nalikuran natin siya, mas pinili natin gawin pa yung mga makamundo. Responsable din tayo sa mga decision ginagawa natin na hindi nakakatulong sa ating pag-lago.
When can we say that we have a deflated service? It is when we don't serve God wholeheartedly, with sincerity and truth, with boldness and consistency. In Mark 12 verse 30, it says, "And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with your mind, with all your strength. This is the first commandment."
Let us all remember that half-hearted service is not a service at all. God wants our whole heart, mind, soul, and strength. When we say full, it means your 100%. And God doesn't even need your 10%, 50%, or 90%. What He needs is your total 100% of your totality.
Lastly, let us all now proceed to the different preventions that we can do so that we can avoid from spreading this virus. First prevention is this: know your priorities. Determine what is more important.
Sa sitwasyon na meron ka ngayon, anong aspeto ng buhay mo ang mas nabibigyan mo ng malaking oras? I know na dahil sa may pandemic, nakakaranas tayo ngayon ng virus, which is COVID-19. And since pandemic, hindi tayo allowed na lumabas. And since dahil doon, marami din na walang trabaho, I know na marami tayong isipin ngayon. Pero nagkataon bang naisip mo din ang Panginoon? Kapatid, kapag inul natin ang Panginoon sa buhay natin, hindi na tayo talo. Tiyak na ang panalo natin. Dahil if we have God in our life, we already have everything. And how can I do this? How can I know my priorities? What are the steps that should I do to know my priorities in life? Una, stop making excuses. Pangalawa, stop being selfish. Pangatlo, don't miss God's blessing. At pang-apat, take time to evaluate.
Evaluation is a good thing. Each day, we need to evaluate how we spend our time and money, how we use our talents and skills. We should examine who we choose as friends, what we set as goals, and where are we going. If God is not first, guess who remove him from his rightful place in your life? Joyce Meyer said, "The key to having God's abundant life is keeping him in his rightful place in our priorities." The second prevention that we can do is resist, reject, and renounce all rival kingdoms.
Saan man tayo mapunta, laging may distractions at temptations tayong may encounter na talaga namang makakasika para lang makafulfill tayo ng responsibilities natin. There are many kingdoms that will attempt to compete with the kingdom of God. Mapa-school ka man, mapa-workplace ka man, sa trabaho, sa galaan, saan ka man mapadpad, laging merong temptations at distractions na mapupunta dyan. But then, since we are all Christians, let us all remember that we are called to be a world changer, not a world chaser.
In Colossians 3 verse 2, it says, "Set your mind on things above, not on earthly things."
Dapat spiritually discipline ka, and dapat spiritually minded ka. Sa panahon ngayon, bawal na ang mga double-minded people, lalo na sa sitwasyon na meron tayo ngayon. As Christians, we should all serve as the salt and light. Let us all say no to distraction. Resist, reject, and renounce all rival kingdoms. Lahat ng mga bagay na pwedeng umagaw ng oras mo sa Panginoon. Lahat ng distractions, temptations, let us all say no to that. Don't find your worth in worldly things that only give you a temporary satisfaction, but instead, let us all find our worth in Christ.
The third prevention that we can do to avoid this virus is to maintain your space.
Kung ang COVID-19 ay nakakahawa, and since nakakahawa to, kaya nga pinagutos ng government na dapat tayo ay mag-quarantine at iwasan mo yung dikit-dikit para maiwasan yung pagkahawa na itong sakit sa lahat ng tao. And ganun din po sa virus na ito. Itong the virus of not fulfilling your duties is at the same time contagious. Nakakahawa siya. So, dapat mahalaga na we should always maintain your space. Always remember na itong virus ito ay contagious, nakakahawa. Kaya okay lang naman na makisama ka sa mga kaibigan mo. But never sana mangyari na makisama ka sa kanila. Kung dumating ka sa point na ginagawa mo yun yung mga hindi magandang bagay na ginagawa nila. Tayo, bilang anak ng Diyos, dapat we should influence them with doing great things or good things.
In Proverbs 13 verse 20, it says, "He who walks with the wise grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm." Associate with yourself with the doers of the word in order to receive encouragement from faithful brethren. The fourth and the last prevention that we can do is to stay in the presence of the Lord.
Lagi nating tatandaan na walang lumalago sa taong lumalayo sa Panginoon. Si Lord lang ang ating kasagutan sa lahat ng ating mga katanungan na mayroon tayo. Kasabay ng ating paglayo sa Kanya ay ang unti-unting pagkaubos ng passion na mayroon tayo sa puso natin. At lagi nating tatandaan, kung wala ng passion din sa puso mo, mahihirapan ka ng i-fulfill pa yung responsibilities na mayroon ka. Okay? So si Lord lamang ang pwede at maaari makapagpa-fuel up ng mga natutulog nating passion sa puso natin. Sa papaanong paraan? Una, through spending time daily meditating in God's Word. So, kailangan natin mag-devotion. Pangalawa, praying to the Father for the strength and wisdom. Dapat lagi tayo nananalangin. Because with that, nagkakaroon tayo ng quality time sa Kanya. And third, dapat hopeful ka. We must be hopeful because God is greater than our broken situations.
I know that we all failed in certain areas of our lives, but Let us all be hopeful that God will give us chances. God can eventually use us greatly. In 2 Corinthians 12 verse 7 to 9 it says, "But he said to me, My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest on me." God is fully aware of our limitations, kaya nga andyan siya para punuan ang mga pagkukulang natin. He can turn upside down our lives, churches, and nations. He can bring light out of darkness and beauty out of ugliness. He can take our thorns and make them our greatest boast. Therefore, as we consider our dark and desperate situations, we must be hopeful. Our God is great.
Again, 4 po nating preventions na dapat nating gawin para maiwasan itong virus na ito ay una, know your priorities. Determine what is more important. Pangalawa, resist, reject, and renounce all rival kingdoms. Pangatlo, maintain your space. Usong quarantine at social distance pagdating sa spiritual. At pang-apat, stay in the presence of the Lord. So yun lamang po. Sana po ay marami kayong natutunan. See you next week. God bless po sa ating lahat. To God be the glory.